All right, so this video's purpose, if you don't know who Alex Hormozi is and you're in this online space, you are living under a rock. I've decided to make this video because Hormozi just had his book launch for his third book yesterday, where he generated over $70 million in less than 24 hours. Absolutely incredible. But Alex has changed the lives of millions of entrepreneurs across the world, and I decided to make this video in inspiration due to him. And so I've gotten so many golden nuggets over the course of his book launch yesterday. But in addition to that, I just scrolled through his X account, and these are 10 lessons that I've learned from him. And it's so hard to. I kept like picking ones that truly resonated with me and what I'm doing, and everything in general. And it's like, okay, this one sounds great, and then I read the next one and the next one, and I'm just like, okay, if you guys go through his X account, these are like the latest 50 tweets or whatever in the latest 50 tweets, because I just couldn't keep going down because everything was just so applicable. But let's get into it. So 10 lessons from Alex Hormozi over the course of the last few months I've learned from him. But number one, I will copy what they did to the T in order to get what they have. And once I've copied, now I can say, okay, how can I do this 7 ways better and different than them? In marketing, being different is better than being better. That's a general saying that we all know, and it's true. Being different is better than just simply being better. But in the beginning, if you don't know what to do, if you're new to the online space, if you're new to the agency SMMA game, join a mentorship and copy every single freaking thing that they do to the T and specifics. And if you don't understand, ask questions, get involved. Don't sit back, don't get on the sidelines, get in the game and actually do what they do. You're not going to know everything to begin with when you're starting out. So that's why you have to copy. You have to copy every single thing. And then once you understand KPIs, once you understand how to media buy, once you understand why they say this framework in the sales calls, ask yourself over time, how can I make this better? Because truly what differentiates people in this space is being different and using your own brain and using your own creativity and having that imagination where you believe that you can do better than others. Because quite honestly, guys, the barrier to entry is super low in this space, and you have a lot of people who are just unqualified, don't give a shit. And the way you can just beat people is just by sticking into the game longer and just outcompeting people through authenticity and who you are, but also just by staying in the game longer. Now, the second point, stop waiting for the perfect condition to start. Starting is the perfect condition. A lot of people, especially in the beginning, or especially as you kind of deal with bottlenecks and problems later on, they don't start, they don't attack their problems head on. And you're never going to feel ready. I've spoke about this in length in some of my other videos, but the way our brains worked, it is in fight or flight, survival or death. And it is designed to protect us. That's why changing environments is scary. That's why travel is scary. That's why, I don't know, breaking up with your girl is scary if you don't want to leave her. Everything is designed to protect us. And through that protection, through that self protection, it basically means that change is scary, and doing something different, doing something new, trying something new, it doesn't want you to do it because it's unfamiliar. And especially with travel too, travel is a lot more in depth and scarier, especially if you haven't done it before, haven't solo traveled, or depending on what you're going, everything is just not familiar to you. And that like puts you in a state of just all of your senses are just out and ready for anything. And the exact same thing here. Stop waiting for you to feel ready, because the truth is you are never going to feel ready. One of the tricks that I have, it's a mental trick, and I just say to myself all the time, whether I'm stalling on doing something, that's just simply counting down from three. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. I don't feel like doing this work. Okay, let's count down. Let's just get right into it. Maybe I want to talk to this girl. 3, 2, 1, countdown, do it. Because the longer you put something off, the higher it is that you don't actually do it. Humans are lazy, and you know this watching this. You've done it a million times where you say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but you've never actually done it. Because the human condition, the longer we put something off, the higher likelihood of it not actually being done. That was the second point. Third point, learn to suffer well in hard times and bad news lose their teeth. Now, I come from a sports background where the training in wrestling, in football, in rugby was always, always, always harder than the actual match. Because when you show up for the game, everything that you built up from there, everything that you've done from practice and repetition is basically meant for it to be just a walkthrough, like the actual competition, just to be a walkthrough, because you've been through so much freaking pain that the build up is nothing. And same thing here. You've been through hundreds of sales calls so that the next sales call is easy. And that you've ran dozens of campaigns so that the next campaign you run is easy. And that you truly, truly, truly go through the pain of learning the skills, putting in the work, putting in the time, so that when problems do arise that are unexpected, bigger than you thought, it's okay. You got it. Take a step back, chill. That's the third point. Fourth point, if you want to go faster, do fewer things so you can do more of them. This is huge, especially in the beginning. Your mind is going to get absolutely assaulted with opportunities and quick dopamine rushes and wanting to hop to the next thing. And that's normal. You don't make money for 1-2 months, hop to the next thing. You don't, or let's say, for example, you are experienced in the agency space and you have so many different things going on. You're focusing on several different levers to pull for scalability. But the truth is, you only need to focus on one. And that is, if you truly want to scale, focus on appointments. If you want to get better results, focus on how to improve your campaigns every single day. If you're not actively focused on building a team, automation, getting calls, seeing how you can improve the results, then the highest leverage things in the company that you could focus on. If you're not focusing on those, then you're wasting your time. Don't worry about making campaigns at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Focus on the highest leverage thing in that specific moment. And that's getting sales calls. Or if you're not on sales calls, then have someone else doing it for you, right? Whatever it is, focus on one thing that's actually going to get you results. And that's important because a lot of people go through this like information paralysis stage where they're just saturated in information, watching watching endless Iman videos, and they just get stuck in this cycle and they can't get out of it because they're not even self-aware to get out of it. And that's a hard cycle to be in. But first scaling, focus on the right inputs because the outputs will then take care of themselves. That was the fourth point. Fifth point, you either fail through action or inaction. You do one, you do the one you're least afraid of. Now, fear can control what you do. And if you let it control what you do, then you're going to seek comfort. And that's not good because you're not going to grow when you're comfortable. You're not going to basically level up because I truly believe entrepreneurship is a journey of self-improvement, self-discovery at the end of the day. And so if you just shy away, it's the regression of the means. You're just going to fall back into your normal habitual actions that you once were because as you continue on this journey, you're not going to be the same person that you were from 6 months ago. And if you try to level up and if you keep trying to level up, but you just keep letting fear control you and tying you down, you're going to do the regression of the means and you're going to fall back into your old habits. And it's easy to fall back into your old habits. I'm not saying any of this. I'm not saying growth is easy. This is hard. It's freaking hard, guys. It is. And I've been in times, recently where just my environment, the people that I'm around sucking my energy, not making me as productive. And yes, of course, it does go back to me, but it's like the regression of the mean was inaction for me personally. And until you kind of like are self-aware and like, holy shit, this is happening to me, and then you can just get bogged down in that cycle. But life is binary, black or white, dark or light. You do it or you don't do it. You either fail through action or inaction. You have the choice. And it doesn't matter the excuses that you have at the end of the day. You do have the choice. So it comes down to what you want and how badly do you want it. That was the fifth point. Sixth point, it's okay to offend people who are never going to buy from you anyways. I made a video on this. A lot of people avoid pain on sales calls. Why? Because it's not comfortable. It's not easy, especially if you're a lot more on the agreeable side as opposed to the disagreeable side when it comes to your personality and who you are. And guys, you're not offending these people on sales calls. Oh no, don't die. Okay, we're good. You're not offending these people on sales calls, guys. The potential prospects that aren't going to buy from you, you want to come from a place where you truly want to help them more than they want to help themselves. And that's a powerful, powerful, powerful mindset to come from because it does rub off onto the prospect. But you do have to push. You do have to kind of either make them not like the emotional, like the pain points and dig into the emotion so much. If they're all a little bit more logical and type A, then you kind of go into the opportunity and money that they're missing out on because of their current strategy that's not working. They're on a call with you for a reason. They're not just there to waste your time. tea break. So don't feel like you're offending people, because if you truly believe in your products, if you truly believe in helping people, it's not offensive at all. You're just seeing the root cause of the problems, because the truth is, guys, most companies fail because of the people behind it. And honestly, just the type of person that they are, not growing, not seeking new information, completely ego off the entire world from new data sets. And it's a crazy world out there. Now, hopefully this computer doesn't die. Okay, that was 6 point. 7 point. America was built on the backs of men who smoked cigarettes, drove without seatbelts, and had bacon for breakfast. If you missed your biohacking routine this morning, you're going to be okay. And that's true. I made a video about being grateful for everything that you have in life. And some people are out here complaining in the agency space about, getting their first client, or complaining that it's too hard, or complaining about having to make 200 sales calls. And it's like, we are living in the easiest time, in my opinion, ever. It's the easiest time. Everybody's so comfortable, and we all know the saying. It's like hard time leads to what's it called? Strong men lead to easy times. Easy times lead to weak men. Whatever that saying is, right? We're living in the easiest time on of history, quite honestly, in my opinion. And a lot of people with discomfort just have the ability to make excuses and complain about everything going on in their life. And it's like, what happened less than 100 years ago? I mean, it's absolutely incredible how quickly humans can lose recognition and lessons that we've learned from the past. And there's a great saying, one of the sayings that I learned from one of my professors when I was at university, and he was like, it's not that humans don't learn from the past, but that human nature never changes. And quite honestly, when I heard that, it was like another epiphany and realization moment for me. And I was like, holy shit, that's so true. And I applied that to my life, and like everything that was going on, I was connecting all the dots, connecting all the pieces. And I was like, holy shit, the cycle repeats itself. Holy crap, humans are habitual creatures, and we just do the same mistakes over and over again because we don't change. And it's like, it's crazy how in the last 100 years there's been so much suffering and so much death and so much brutality and so many wars that have gone on, and yet people really have the time of day to complain about not getting their vanilla latte at their local shop because they missed their alarm. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, and it saddens me. But again, it's not my problem, and I could really care less about that. So, point 8, hard times don't last forever. There are only 3 outcomes. You quit, it gets easier, or you get better. But no matter what, they end. And that's the truth. The hardest time of what you're going through right now is right now. So long you actually stay in the game. If you just quit, then you quit. That's it. You're done. Who cares, right? Who cares? You gave up. You weren't getting results, or it was too stressful to handle. You kept turning clients, whatever. You quit, you're done. But if you decide to stay in the game and outcompete people by staying in the game, then the hardest time is now. And that's why you can't let fear dictate and control what you do, because if you do, you're just going to shrink back into irrelevance. And that is a terrible feeling, because you don't want to live with the feeling of regrets. Constantly think about the feeling of regret and pain and quitting throughout your journey, because it's such a negative energy, and it's infectious. And you're like, how can I live with myself if I quit? Right? So the hardest time is now, because you are the investment. Things do get better over time because you are developing the skills. Point 8. Point 9, if you try to sell in the back end, you're too late. You want to get the renewal before the end of the 3rd month. At the end of month 1 to halfway through month 2, you want them in cycle, not like it's a new purchasing decision. This is more tactical and strategical, guys, when it comes to running your agency. And I have a couple clients who have 3 months coming up, and this was a massive golden nugget. And I learned this through his book launch yesterday. I was listening to one of the recordings back earlier today, because I wasn't able to get around to the second live recording that he had yesterday on Sunday. It's 2 a.m. right now, but he said this. I quoted it down. I was like, holy shit, because I have a couple clients, like I said, coming up on 3-month renewals later this month. And I was like, And I'm saying to myself right now, like, holy shit, this is a massive lesson that I'm learning. Don't wait this long. Like, I might have screwed myself. I don't think I did, because the results are good and they like me and the value is there, right? But sometimes you can screw yourself if you wait too long. So halfway through the first month, halfway through the second month, max, when things are going good, and in between that gap, strike when the iron is hot. Ask for that renewal, so that it's just like a natural flow, as opposed to, like what he said, a new entire decision that has to be made. And again, guys, Newton's law: an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. And it's kind of similar to this. You want them in cycle, so that it's just continuing the program, as opposed to them seeing the program coming to an end and then you getting it off the ground and trying to get them back onto it. It's a lot more resistance and a lot more friction, as opposed to just keeping it while the results are good from like 15 to 45 days in. That's when you ask. Point 10. Okay, we're about done. It almost always takes less time to finish the work than you spend avoiding the work to begin with. Absolutely true. I'm guilty of this. You're guilty of this. If you're not, then you're a liar. I've spent so much time procrastinating on certain things, whether it's media buying. Honestly, for the most part, it is media buying, because who the hell likes to set up the campaigns and get that entire thing going? So delegate that if you want to kind of offset some of your responsibilities, because one of the things that I'm going to delegate and offset last is sales. I do love sales. I do love the front ends, and I love being able to sell, because I truly believe in what I'm doing, and I believe that rubs off on the prospects. But with you personally, it takes less time to do what you actually need to do, as opposed, or compared to the time you're taking that you're procrastinating on it. And it's absolutely true. I mean, in the past, I've just sat on the couch for like 1 to 2 hours procrastinating something, and then by the time I actually did it and started, it took me like 30 minutes. And it's like, holy shit, Marco, you were seriously avoiding this entire time for a few hours just to get 30 minutes worth of work done. And it's also applies a larger picture, which is how productive you can seriously be in a given day if you just stick to a schedule, create a plan the night before, or an action plan for the following few days, and actually stick to it. It's truly amazing how far ahead you can get of your competition if you just stick to an action plan of doing the highest leverage things possible for growth and scalability. But in the beginning, you have to do everything yourself, get good at everything. I hate sometimes people starting agencies and try to automate right away and hiring 15 setters or 20 setters. That's all just super stupid. Don't do that, because how do you expect to run a team and lead a team when you can't do anything yourself? So gain all the skills, and then from there, once you're good at everything, and then it just becomes boring and an extra thing you have to do, then start to delegate and kind of offset some of those responsibilities. But Alex Hormozi is an absolute legend in our space. If you don't know him, like I said in the first 30 seconds, you are living under a rock, and you have to look into him. I don't know why you're still watching this if you don't know who Hormozi is, but that's pretty much that, guys. 10 lessons, 20 minutes. I hope this helps and put some things into perspective when it comes to mindset, a little bit of the tactical things with running an agency, and just some tips for productivity. But that's that, and I'll see you.